Hello and welcome to my channel. This is the second video I will be creating using papers from a paper share I got from Stampin' Up. A paper share is a sampling of the 6x6 sizes of some of the papers that they have available for purchase. This particular paper share is featuring papers from the 2017-2018 Occasions catalog. And I've just pulled out two papers and I'm going to demonstrate a card design that I came up with on these two papers. I'm going to link down below to the original video where I show all of the papers in this paper share. And this is the design that I came up with. This is going to feature a little bit of watercoloring for this flower, some die cutting, and also some embossing. This covers some pretty basic stamp making techniques, and I hope you'll try to make this card yourself. Okay, in addition to the papers, you're also going to need a piece of paper, some scrap paper, because I needed to make a leaf. And I used this punch to cut this leaf out, and I used the Stormy Sky on some plain white cardstock. Just drag the stamp pad over the paper, and I generated this leaf here using those two things. I hope that made sense. Okay, and I also am going to be using Bamboo Leaves by Memento and gold embossing powder. Here I have that. And I'm using the mini bouquet by Stampers Anonymous, Tim Holtz. And I also am using the Altenew Painted Expression card stamp set. And I got this pearlescent watercolor from Amazon. This is Yatsutomo. You just add a little bit of water and it reconstitutes the paint and it adds a lot of shine. I'm using my stitched frames, rectangles, and I'm also using the Flower Garden and Mini Bouquet die sets to cut out this flower. Okay, let me clear this away and start into the second card. I would also like to mention I'm going to link to the original video which shows the paper share in the comment section down below. Okay, the first thing I want to show you is I have a piece of just standard copy paper. When I'm doing designs that require me to take strips of items and put them together, I tend to use a piece of copy paper to help me with all the lining up, because sometimes I don't get everything as straight as I need it to be on the first go around, and the copy paper helps me to line that up. So I don't have a lot of tape on this gun. Let's see how far we get. So I'm going to tape these pieces down using the copy paper to help me line up the edges. So far so good on the tape. Okay. If you are able to do it straight, then of course you wouldn't need this extra step, but I know my limitations. Okay. And the flower piece, I want it to be over the other two, so that's why I put the edges on first. Okay, and that is crooked, which is why I didn't press it down too hard to start with, and apparently a little harder than I thought, but here we go. So you're seeing it live, people. Mistakes and everything. So let's make sure that's straight this time. There we go, that's better. Okay. Now, that's the first step. And this copy paper is very thin, so it will not affect the finished card. Okay, now this next step is, let me get my frame here. Sure the right one? Yes. So I'm going to use the mat to get the frame for this. So this is a way to save some paper. So what I'm going to do is run my embossing buddy all over the center here. so that the embossing powder does not stick where I don't want it to be. And I'm taking my Misty tool, which I already have the stamps that I'm going to use on the door. Forgive the glare. Make sure that's lined up. One more time. Yes, that's good. And I'm going to just stamp right here on this using my Versamark pad, which has gotten away from me. Versamark. I want to make sure that I get a really good coverage because this is a very solid stamp and I don't want to have any empty holes. And it looks like I got a good one. Okay. I'm going to clean this off real quick before I forget. Okay, I have a coffee filter here to protect my work area so I don't get embossing powder all over the place. And I'm just going to drip it right on top of the wet ink. The Versamark stays wet a little bit longer, so it may seem like I'm not moving fast enough, but you really have quite a lot of time with this. Okay, give it a little stamp to knock off the little extra bits. That's good. Now I'm just going to put this right back into the jar, but I'm going to bring in a piece of paper in case I spill any. There, no waste. Now I'll just bring in my heat tool. Okay, I bring in my Misty tool and the watercolor panel, and I'm going to stamp this flower. Transfer it to the door. I've taken the black foam rubber out because this is a rubber stamp and it needs a little bit of extra space. Okay, and I'm going to use my Versamark to get a good impression of black. I'm gonna better hold that in place in case it wants to move. And I'm going to stamp this 2 times to make sure I get a really deep black impression. Okay, and it's good. So I'll clean this up real quick. Now I'm going to use a marker, which this color is rose pink, and I'm going to go all over because this is different than how I did this one because I didn't feel like the color was deep enough on the original one, so I'm making a little bit of a change here. This is going to go really quick, and I'm not being really careful about the coloring because I know that the dye for this particular flower goes very close to the black edge. So if I go over the lines, it won't really matter. Okay, I think that's good enough. Now I need to get my water pen and some paper towels. And bring in my palette of watercolor shimmers. Come on, open up. Okay, so I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of water into the palette, and I think I'll use this one. Just squeeze a little bit directly from the pen, just need a little, and move it around to get the paint moving. And just go right over the coloring that I've done. This is really simple, and it adds a really wonderful shimmer, which unfortunately you don't see it very well on the camera, but it's really, really pretty. I got these paints at Amazon. I think it cost maybe $10. It was one of those lightning deals which they sometimes have. And since I'm always buying scrapbooking stuff, I frequently get a bunch of pushes from Amazon. Sometimes they work out, and this is a case that I thought, you know what, that looks like a good buy. I'm going to go ahead and get that. Okay, and you just rub the extra paint onto the paper towel, squeeze the water, and the brush cleans right up. Okay, moving right along. All right, this just needs a moment to dry, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, I'm going to do the center of the flower with this Zig Wink of Stella brush, and I just got it, and I'm going to show you how you can start these brushes up. It comes with this little black ring on it, and if you just unscrew the barrel and take the ring off and screw the barrel back on, okay, and then you see it's brand new white tip, so you just take a piece of paper, and I'm just going to do it here, and it has the word push on here. You just give it a little squeeze, and be careful, you don't want to go crazy on this because it comes out a lot. So you just squeeze it until you see the ink coming through in the barrel, and I do not see it yet. Yep, there we go. See, it's coming through now. So just give it a gentle squeeze, and then you'll see the ink coming through. And you only have to do this when you first purchase it. I accidentally, for one of my pens, I squeezed it too hard, and the material came flying out and went over everywhere. It was such a mess. So there you go. Now it is primed and ready to go, and you never have to do that again. Okay? And it has a lot of material in here, so be careful when you do that priming. So I'm just going to go all over the center of the flower with this black Wink of Stella, and it makes it shimmery, so it'll match up nicely with the watercoloring. There. Okay, move that aside, and this just needs a second to dry. This is trash now. So next step is going to be to take the die cut and run this through my Big Shot and center this and cut it out. I'll be right back. Oh, I also forgot I need to get the die cut for that flower. And now I'm going to the machine. Okay, so as you see, the die cut for this flower cuts very close. There is almost no white along the edges. I think you can see that. Okay. Now the rest of the card is just simple assembly, so I'm going to let the music run and put everything together. So that's card number 2. I hope you liked it. I made a little mistake here. I didn't realize it when I was putting the card together that I meant to have these panels with the maximum dots at the top going to lesser dots at the bottom, but on this one I did it the exact opposite way, but it's okay because both are going the same direction. And I also forgot to tuck that leaf in before I press this down. And you can see the difference between the two flowers. This is the one where I put the color directly onto the white cardstock, and this is where I, of course, did the coloring with this marker ahead of time, and that gave it a deeper color, which I think matches closer to this. But let me know which one you think looks better. I'd like to thank my brother for the music that he provides for my channel. I hope you're enjoying it. And I want to thank all of my subscribers for your continued support in my videos. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. I try to bring content pretty frequently. I'm getting a slow start back from the holidays, but I'm trying to get going. Thanks for watching, everyone, and take care and have a great day.